Evening all. Jeremy, you're going to kick us off, then we'll go to Radio Sheffield, and then if we can use the hands up system, that would be appreciated. Are you ready,
Sure.
Jeremy?
Sure. Happy New Year to you, Chris. Another defeat. It's 17 winless games. It's the worst winless start in Premier League history. I mean, what are your thoughts tonight?
Thanks for reminding me, Jeremy. Not really took much interest in stats. Yeah, we're obviously disappointed with the stats that you've kindly reminded me of, and disappointed yet again. It's a harsh league to be involved in when you're off the pace, as we have been for a long time, and not getting any sort of results, as you've reminded me. So it's tough. There's no hiding place, though, is there really? And no hiding place for me and the players. Another game that I believed, even though we had 9 out injured, I think you might have seen that, 9 unavailable, which I believe, even if we were playing in League One as we were 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago in League One, that would have hurt us then. So it's going to hurt us, impact on us there. But yet again, another game where both penalty boxes has basically decided the game, and disappointing that we've not been good enough in both boxes to get a result.
Your thoughts on the Eze goal, from where he started the run? Should he have scored, and should the goal have stood given the time it was scored on, I think, 46 minutes when there were 5 minutes up on the clock for added time?
Yeah, exactly. The referee would never be brave enough to, as soon as he picked it up. I mean, naive from our point of view. We're 1-0 down at half time at Palace. It's not the worst result in the world. We've had plenty of the play. We saw the game exactly as it was going to be. A poor start, obviously, to go 1-0 down, but we got a foothold in the game and got back in the game and created some half chances. Always knowing that the top of the pitch, they've got some incredible players that can hurt any team in this division. And some really good ones coming off the bench as well. So we had to play well from a defensive point of view. So just looking at that goal, the second goal, we should do so much better with it when he comes in on his right. We didn't get bodies over, we didn't get bodies round, we didn't attempt to make contact. And obviously it's a fabulous finish, but the lead up to it, we don't need to play quick in that situation. We took that decision. And then I'm listening to the fourth official counting down when the ball's on the far side, and he's counting down from 20 to 10, and that's it. And he said that's it about 5 times. When it went back to the centre half, he said that's it. And then as soon as it sort of worked its way through into the middle of the park, it was still that's it. And for me, he was never ever gonna blow his whistle when the boy picked it up. They never do, even to be fair. And I'm clutching a little bit, as you can imagine, and you can accept clutching at stuff at the moment, Jeremy. But even at the end there, when we had a corner, it was up, but he wanted the corner to be taken. I don't understand it. But our naivety, our poor play in terms of not stopping that goal, and obviously a mountain to climb after that.
Chris, were you aware of the footage of Luka Milivojevic, the Palace captain, apparently partying on New Year's Eve with Aleksandar Mitrovic and his family and breaking
That's got nothing to do.
COVID protocols?
I'm answering the question on the game today. I'm not interested in what other players and what they've done on New Year's Eve. I think that's quite disrespectful to me to talk about other players and other football clubs. Talk about the football game, and I'll answer it all day long.
I was just going to ask, should he have been playing if that was true?
I don't know if you just... you can hear me, obviously, everything's all right. I'm not interested in answering that question.
Just finally, Chris, from me, the transfer window's open. What can you do? What do you want to do? And would it make any difference, frankly?
Well, of course it would make a difference because we bring a couple of better players in to a team that's obviously struggling, as you've said. So, quite frankly, as you've quite frankly said, it'd make a difference.
Kids, are you ready?
Thank you.
Hi, Chris. It's Andy from Radio Sheffield here. I wonder if, in an attacking sense, you think a degree of resignation has set in because they've not been able to build much momentum in the match today?
No, it's tough, Andy. It's tough to build momentum at the best of times in the Premier League, as you can imagine. It's it's quite interesting when you think that we should build a huge amount of momentum when you're playing Crystal Palace, because we didn't really build an incredible amount of momentum last year when we played against them, even in both games. But last year's last year, and it's amazing how people see it. Lack of confidence and lack of belief, which obviously comes with poor results, Andy. Doesn't allow the players really to play at their full flowing momentum, however you want to talk it, best football. And it's a slog and it's a grind, and it looks like that at the moment for all of us.
How can that mental side of things be worked on then?
Keep answering the questions. I've answered this question for about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks now. It has to come from within. It's not going to come from outside. It's got to come from within, from players finding a big moment, finding a big half of football, finding a big performance, finding a big result. As people talked about before, the 17th game of that season 30 years ago, it was similar. They were tight games. There were possibly games where I can't imagine looking back at the record books where we were blasted out of the water, but there was a togetherness, as there is, which you're seeing still, to compete and do their best. But obviously, it takes a hit with every game that goes by without that result. But in that experience that I've had and been involved in, the group were tight, which they are now. And they got that one win. That group got that one win that set them off, and it's as basic as that. And people are looking to everything. From what the change room's like, to the attitude of the change room, to the selection for everything. And I get that. It's debate and it's criticism, and I understand that. But it comes with one big moment, one big performance, one big result, as it did in that period 30 years ago, which obviously resulted in the team winning a few games in the second part of the season. And that's all we have to look for, and all we try to gain.
Just finally from me, 9 players were unavailable to you today for various different reasons. Is that going to ease at all between now and the next time you're in action?
I'd like to think so, but we'll just keep assessing them all the way. There's obviously some long-term ones in there. I'm not going to disclose too much about that, but to lose nine players at any level, especially in the Premier League, as I said, and especially when in the form that we're in and the run that we're in and the results that we're gaining, is certainly not going to give us the best opportunity of getting a result in this division that we're playing in. You're looking round and you're scratching your head in terms of what you can do off the bench, and I suppose one of the bright spots of the day is Antoine getting onto the pitch as a 16-year-old player. So I'm delighted with that, and he can surely be proud of making his debut at that age. But to not fill a bench and have that many players out injured is certainly gonna hurt us, and obviously it did.
Baldock didn't play today. Just finally, why is that?
Yeah, well, George never trained on Thursday, and I made that decision Friday for Jayden to play. And I've said all along, there's players that have done okay, and some of them, they've been up and down in the form, and I thought it was the right time to play Jayden. As I said, George has played at the weekend, played Sunday, had a tough season like we all have, and I believe Jayden was ready to play. And as I said, George never trained on Thursday, so we did a light session on Friday, and I picked my team, and I don't think the inclusion of Jayden really went towards us losing the game. Or the inclusion of George cost us the game.
Thanks, Chris. Best of luck.
James?
Hello there. Right. Can you hear me?
Hey, mate.
Oh, hello there, mate. That's brilliant. I was just wondering, what, in terms of Antoine, what was it about all of the sort of the kids in the academy? What was it made you pick him? Why was he the standout candidate?
He's a centre forward, and he's got raw pace, and that was something that that I believe that if we did need something out of the academy, and he was the one that he's already been involved in first team training. He obviously went up the road to Scotland pre-season. I didn't want to bring 4 or 5 of the young players in because I thought that wasn't fair on them. And I've got to look at the academy as well and say, who potentially has got the ability and the qualities that might kick on through. And obviously, me picking him sort of tells a story.
Yeah. And in terms of that sort of togetherness that you spoke about, how's that manifested itself in that dressing room? In terms of the group, you still seeing the right things?
They've got character, they've got commitment. They're all qualities that I look for in terms of signing a player. It's all qualities that we try to develop as a group. The selfless one, the togetherness of everything, and everything that we have achieved over the last 4.5 years, James, has been built on that. That it's not an individual sport, and they're all together, and they've got to give everything for the group, and they understand that. That's what makes that group tick. That's what I want in a changing room. That's what we've had to be to do the things that it's allowed us to do over the last 4.5 years.
In terms of the way it's going, how close are you to bringing somebody in? Do you know? I know you said you'd sent that upstairs. Are you just waiting to see now?
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Stu Rayner?
Can I just ask, Chris, at times like this, people will often say, just chuck the kids in. And you sort of said there, it's not fair. I mean, can you just sort of spell out to them the dangers of doing that?
Honestly, and I'm not being critical of you, Stu, but you can't compare our academy to anybody else's academy. And I'm not being critical of our academy. Our academy is way behind the academies of Arsenal. It's so, how can I say it? And I'm not being disrespectful, but it's quite uneducated. If you understand what happens at Chelsea's academy and Arsenal's academy and Man City's academy and everybody else's academy compared to our academy, it would destroy some of the young players at our place. And basically, I'm not being disrespectful. We're way behind from an academy point of view. We're Cat 2 in 2 divisions that are the majority, if not all of them, are Cat 1. So this is part of the club that's obviously looking to develop and move forward. So we have to be really careful to pick out the one or two that we believe has that opportunity or has those strengths. I'm not killing the players at our academy, and they might develop over the next 2 or 3 years and come good. But as I said before, a 14-year-old boy signing for our academy 4 years ago, now he's 18, and possibly would have expected him to be playing possibly mid-table championship football. If we'd have progressed in the way that really we should have progressed and not accelerated like the way that I have and we have accelerated the team. And now we're asking him to play or to be involved in a team. Chuck the kids in. It's quite difficult.
So although he's only 16, presumably you see a lot of mental toughness in Hackford that he is able to step up.
Well, yeah, he's still got a hell of a lot of learning to do, but he's got raw pace, he's got ability. I know from what part of town he comes from, so I know he's not going to be lacking in those qualities. And he's a tough young boy. So if there was one positive or small positive to come out of today, it was Antoine making his debut at 16 years in the Premier League.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks all. Thank you.